In the 1970s, avatars became part of the video game experience. For the first time, players could see themselves represented in the virtual world of the game. Decades later, the rise of the internet brought a sense of community to gaming. People from all over the world could play together. Video games became a gathering place, a point of connection. These days, the virtual experience blurs the lines between the digital and the physical self. Over time, the video games have made it easier and easier for players to bring more of themselves and their relationships into the virtual world. There's a parallel here for CSR professionals interested in employee engagement. Although it's easy to think of employees and community members as distinct groups, they are not separate. Often, they're one and the same. So the question is, how do we as social impact professionals take the same trajectory? How can we leverage both technology and community to help employees bring their full selves to their work? Welcome to Impact Studio. I am Sam Caplan, Vice President of Social Impact at Submittable. Over the course of my career, the companies I've seen be the most successful at threading together CSR and employee engagement are the ones who don't get caught up in drawing hard lines between employees, community members, and customers. Instead, they focus on collapsing borders. Jaimie Vargas is Head of Global Social Impact at Electronic Arts. She's aiming to reframe how we think about CSR and employee engagement to make the experience more impactful for everyone. Can you just tell me a little bit about what CSR looks like at Electronic Arts?
Sure, great. It's great to be here, Sam, and excited to connect with everybody listening in. So, Electronic Arts, I love the mission, the purpose of the company. It's about inspiring the world to play. We're going to be a leader in interactive gaming. And so when you think about how do we show up then from a social impact point of view, it's about using that power of play to create positive change in all of the spaces where we live, work, play, bringing that to the world of STEAM education, science, technology, engineering, arts, math, STEAM education, and thinking about how we create strong, healthy communities where everyone can thrive, where everyone has access and opportunity to play. So using that notion, kind of the company's purpose really helps us understand how we can authentically show up in the world of social impact and kind of contribute to the story of the company. And, like many companies, we're drawing on a lot of levers of change. Of course, we're going to mobilize and activate, our employees, our player community around the world. The products, the IP that we have are an incredibly unique asset that we can deploy. Our financial heft, our philanthropic capital is a great place to create change. Where we sit in the ecosystem, using our platform as an incredible, worldwide brand. There's a lot of power and responsibility and expectation that come with that too. So I think about it as we have an incredible set of assets available to us, tools in our toolbox, and how can we creatively and authentically put those tools into action to create positive change.
It's really interesting, Jaimie. So with all of these assets and communities that you mentioned, who do you feel like should be responsible for setting or helping to set the priorities for a CSR program?
Well, I like to say, kind of half joking, but half serious, everybody's on the social impact team. Social impact is a part of sort of all of our jobs, despite where we sit, in our day-to-day functionality. But in reality, I think, strategy is really co-created. So it's really important, I think, for social impact strategy to reflect the business careabouts and what's really driving your business, and that'll look and feel differently depending on your industry and where your space is. But that's really important. And then there's the piece about sort of what's happening outside the company, the community careabouts. What are the needs depending on where you operate? Regulators and policymakers play a role too, but I think of it as it's really that intersection point. It's not one or the other. Strategy really does need to reflect where you can show up in the world and make a positive difference, what's unique and special to you as a company, and what matters and how you're going to return value to your business. That intersection, that's really the sweet spot, I think, where CSR and social impact can really shine. Being a function that maybe doesn't generate, it's not a cost center, it's like a pride center, and it sits often kind of at the heart of crisscrossing functions, and really has a lot of dependencies across a company. So it's really inherent, I think, that the approach and the point of view necessarily reflect a broad set of stakeholder views in and out of the company to guide and shape that strategy.